o'clock in the morning. I think probably closer to 5 or 4. But anyway, I've been seeing stuff, visions of stuff, and I called the nurses in, and they said it was hallucinations from medication I was having and stuff. And I just couldn't sleep, and every time I closed my eyes, I could see different stuff. And one of the first things I finally figured out what it was, I was seeing my car manual on my car, and it was like when I turned the page, I had my eyes closed, I was turning the page of the manual, and everything was colored, but it would move the diagram to move to the place where it belonged, the rear view mirror, and where do I put my glass case, where everything was on my car. It was the most unusual thing. And I thought, I didn't recognize it right away, and I thought, it almost looks like my tail lights. How to take it apart. And then I kept, going over this, trying to kind of wake up, not keep my eyes closed, and then I kept seeing some other kind of vision. Well, later, they gave me I asked them if I could have a sleep pill. And they gave it to me at 3. Sometime after that period of time, I did have a vision. God our Father came to me, and he said, believe me when I tell you, on this day you were in heaven with me. I was in his kingdom, and there really was. There's like black angels and white angels, and it showed the black angels saying all the stuff you're not supposed to say, and they formed, what did it say? Oh, the white one said forgiveness, forgive others, be kind to the needy. It just kept going on, and he says, I have missed you, Mary. He told me. And then I saw Mother Teresa, and I thought, that's Mother Teresa. And one of the angels was carrying her, and she turned around, and she was so pretty, and she smiled at me I thought, my gosh, that's Mother Teresa. I recognized right away. And then she carried her up towards the top floor, and it kind of looked like a beautiful dome, but it was all cloudy type, and then it disappeared, and it's real white. It kept glowing, And the dark angels was evil, and it was sex, unkind, not kindness. It says, let me think. It says, vanity. And also, it says, to read it, Mary, read it. It says, Father, help me. It says, kept telling me, be a good person, not to do all these sins, And then put all the kind things. And it says, obey my commandments. And it says, read my Bible, read my book. And he says, the saints. And then I saw, what is the one that had a child? Was it St. Jude? Or one of them had like a child. And then I saw another one. But then I thought, what in the heck is this? He says, you have 3 days. 3 days I have to make a decision. And he says, he told me to be kind to myself, love myself, forgive. I'm good. And he says, I have to make 3 days in something in 3 days, I will have a decision. Something will happen in 3 days. And then all I remember is when you were in the white light, it was my good angels. But it got dark, and it was like cloudy. I mean, real dark. And it was on the left-hand side. And it was where the devil was. And it looked kind of like we were seeing this, and they were kind of urging me. I didn't want them to stay on the white side. So right at the end, I saw, like, I thought, I kept looking down. And he said, forgive others that hurt you. I'm trying to remember. I forgot. At the end, it was this like table thing, and I could see 5 little round things. And I thought, what the heck is that? What is that? And then I was going, and I could see just like a dark headlight thing. And it's like they laid me back on the table. And then they went back up. But he told me, he says, tell others. He said that he gave me gifts. And one gift, he said, the gift of healing. He said, I gave you the gift of technology. I thought maybe I'll understand my computer. He says, I want you to help others. He says, you won't struggle. I'll have an easier life. For some reason, he says, go out and do his word, help, be kind, and everything. And he did, because I've been praying for weeks and weeks that he would hold me in his arms. And I told Dodie, I says, what happened is, I remember, what happened is, when the angels brought me to him, and I just almost forgot again, that they put me in his arms, and I saw him look down, and it was like he was in a rocking chair. He was holding me in a rocking chair. And he smiled when they took me away from him. And he had the most, oh my gosh, most beautiful smile. You knew he loved me. This man loves me. But he told me, he said, love thyself. I remember that, love thyself. But he told me to tell people, he says, you have 3 days. I can decide in 3 days to change my life. So, not to be envious of others, to start being a better person and all. And this has made a change in my life. And I'm telling you because he asked me to. I don't care if people think I've lost my marbles, but I know it happened. Because, when it happened, no matter where I went, I heard nurses, and I could hear in the background, they said, hey, Mary, Miss Smith. And then I heard them say, can you see me? One of them says, can you see, hey, what are you seeing if you can't see me? And I heard somebody kind of laughing, The guy was laughing. Then I saw a little short nurse, and she had it looked like the shadow, just the outline I could see, like a curlier, short-haired lady. And she was like a roundish, huskier face. But I didn't see her face. But all I saw was, I was watching God. I didn't want to watch her. I wanted to watch it. Because the angels, what they did is, they spelled forgiveness with their bodies. Everything was with their bodies. Wow. And everything was there. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Well, I believe every bit of it.
I believe it too.
I've had personal experience, but I've had friends who've had experiences like that. Have you read the book Heaven is for Real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You remember the
that
little boy saying that Satan is real? That they were,
Yeah.
well, you were describing.
Yeah, I read it too.
Yeah, you're describing something.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were like black angels.
My niece Debbie had leukemia, and she had gone through years of chemotherapy, and she was so sick that she finally said, I've just had enough. I don't want any more chemotherapy. She was lying in bed like this, but she was unable to move. She was only hours away from dying.
Mm-hmm.
She was so weak. And bam, she sat bolt upright and had this strange look in her eye. My mother and my sisters were there watching this happen. She sat bolt upright, and she said, I just saw Danny. That's a brother of mine that died
Oh.
10 years before, almost to the day.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when I saw, and she mentioned people she saw. And she said, Danny said, it's not my time yet, but pretty soon. She laid back down, and she didn't die that day, but she died like a day or two later.
Well, he told me, he says, I will see you soon. And he says, but I have to make a change. And he says, you will be with me again in my kingdom. Oh, and I remember Tanya. I just remembered near the end when they were kind of going down. It's like it turned in like you could see the crucifixion. He was trying to carry the cross, and he was going up. And I saw that portion of it. I thought, oh my God, because he sent his son to carry our sins to him. And I told him, I said, you have sent your own son to help us. I said, you're my father. I said, I will come to you. You're my dad. I'm going to ask you to help me. I said, help these men save me. Or I said, if you want me, I said, I'll be happy to go with you. But I said, if I have a choice, I said, can I go back to my girls need me, my grandkids now. So, if anything should happen to me in 3 days, I'm okay, Tony. Because he told me he would see me soon. I don't know. Soon in his life could be years and years.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I'm okay. But technology healing, visions. He told me
Was your
visions.
third gift, yeah.
I don't know about the technology part. That's a little ambiguous, considering.
Education too.
I
Education.
don't know what he means
Education.
by that.
That's what it said.
Yeah, well, don't doubt it. I just don't understand.
Oh, I'm not doubting because I know what he wrote.
No, I don't doubt
But
it
you know
either.
what? There was so much, and I couldn't hardly read it all. It's hard to keep it, trying to read it as they were kind of moving
Like a
slowly.
book?
Yeah, kind of. Things were moving. I know Larry probably thinks I've lost it.
No,
And I said,
happened to me during